What is up, everyone? Today I'm going to go over uranium mine battles and formations, and I'm just going to go over free flowing through a bunch of different battle reports just to kind of go over what strategies you want to employ when it comes to setting out a formation and attacking people. Obviously, your level of strength will depend on what you spent money on, so I'm not going to really focus on that. I'm just going to more focus on the formation side of things. But I might touch a little on those things as well because it kind of does impact the formation. I guess I could start with the first battle, but this is mine. I occupied. I probably was stronger this person. I have more troops and probably more. But I'm just going to go over here. Okay, so you notice here that I have almost one type of every unit at least. It's very important to actually have these little units surrounding you, even though you think they die easily. And the reason is because they swallow up your opponent's main troops' special abilities really well. The cannons, which you see, this one's using a laser cannon, but oftentimes mortar cannons. Those two, the two cannons, their special abilities fire off like bombs basically that can target more than one target. And the thing is, like, when you have, like, how I have this out here is like, okay, if I could pause it, I guess I can't. So I can't pause it, but I'll go over my lineup choice. Basically, you know your opponent is going to have destructive light, or if he doesn't have destructive lightning, you're probably just winning. Especially, I have purple titans, so if they don't even have that, then it's probably like that means their titans are very low level, in which case I don't have to worry. But since destructive lightning, it can kill up to 3 people, and even if they have the Thor skill, which boosts attack doesn't really boost. Like an increase of attack doesn't really result in that much more damage, and that's why. I can go out in a separate video how attack is like very overrated when it comes to one-on-one battles, especially if you don't have any damage. The damage stats, if you don't have the damage stats, an attack just really doesn't do much. It's actually better to have that destructive lightning kill the 3 1-of units. And the reason I don't even do like 100 or 250, you'll see I have like 2 100s here, is because the destructive lightning always attacks the 3 least units. The 3 units or 3 troop types of the least units. And yeah, if they have a higher Thor skill, it can kill up to 4, I think, or sometimes more. But the standard is it kills the units with the 3 lowest amount of the 3 troop types of the least units. And the reason I choose 1 instead of like 100 or 250 or some arbitrary number that you might see other people use is because it's hard to gauge how strong their titans are going to be. And if their titans have a strong destructive lightning, it's kind of a waste to put like 250 each if it's just going to kill all of those in one hit, because then you lose 750 units versus just losing 3 units, and it gets the same bonus and it just killed everything. So rather than trying to gauge like, oh, my opponent might have a really how strong the destructive lightning of my opponent would be, I would just like, I'm assuming it's going to kill everything, and I will just choose 3 units. And the 3 units I choose are the biker, the axe, T-Knight and Axeman, and then the shielder. I say those 3 are going to die, so you can see right here, destructive lightning kills those 3. And the reason I choose the shielder is because, especially when you're a C30, your shredders are the main melee unit. You see how the fire destructive path goes on a diagonal and it immediately kills the shielder? And actually, even for some reason, is able to touch the laser cannon. But the point is like that, the way it goes in the diagonal, it's automatically going to kill the shielder. So that also becomes a point of contention, is like, I could add a lot more shielders to have 1 extra unit to swallow up the kills, but what if they have really strong destructive lightning? Then it's hard, or sorry, not destructive lightning, but that fire path skill. I forget what it's called. It's this skill right here, destroy ray. Okay, then I have to guess how strong their destroy ray is as well. And so oftentimes I'll just, unless I've already attacked them, and since a lot of times when I'm attacking, I don't know how powerful they're going to be exactly. I know they might have, like, for example, here I could look up his stats ranking by visiting the other nation, looking it up, and have an idea if it's going to be a strong Titan or not. But more often than not, it's kind of hard to gauge how strong their destroy ray is going to be. So that's why I say the shielder is one of the units that are going to die. And the reason I add 10 or 100 of these ones is because sometimes this person didn't have a great formation, but if they're also mimicking that one ofs, or maybe they have like 50, then those little units, if he were to have like other frontline and stuff, they might end up attacking my 100. But if my 100 is greater than their number, then they're still going to survive long enough. So yes, technically, if they added like 500 stuff, then I'm at kind of a disadvantage. But more often than not, they either have no units or just like a one of units. And so having this little extra 100 pad not only ensures like it's going to survive the destructive lightning because it doesn't get hit till the second time it fires off, but it also survives the opponent's little mini troops if they actually added any. So that's why I chose those random 100. And then for my back row, since I'm a mid-range fighter here, mostly mid-range, but like I mentioned, a hybrid, I have 46,000 laser cannons. I just add enough of these that I know that it'll survive the Blood Feast. So you see 1,200, 300. You kind of have to gauge based on how strong your long-range HP is and how strong their Blood Feast is. But I've found the most opponents I end up taking on, like, this is a good number to barely survive. You don't want many surviving, but then you can see that 498 snipers, they swallowed that 16,900 of their zombie special attack. So that zombie special attack, if I didn't have these little snipers or cannons or other stuff to swallow up that skill, it might have gone straight to my main troop and killed a lot of them, like a lot of my rocket launchers, which is not ideal. So that's why you want to have at least some of these other troops swallow a full special ability attack, because it's like the concept of a whole, like when you send your one of units when you're doing a group attack against like a small city, and you just want to minimize loss. It's the same concept here. Is basically you want their full on special ability to like to hit these little one of troops. So that way they just basically waste a full attack almost. Basically, when you add more than one, it's a padding that says, like, in case they have other things that you want it to survive long enough to swallow special abilities. That's all the extra padding is. Because by the second attack, they should be gone. You should see here, the first destructive lightning wipes out the one of units. And then the second, you can see that this person didn't have laser cannons, but sometimes the laser cannons, they will swallow up already. But because these 100 live, the destructive lightning kills that. And actually, I had enough cannons that I even survived the destructive lightning for that. It was kind of cool. But yeah, so that's where you want to do. And then basically, then you're just left with your main units. And then, yeah, a mid-range is going to have an advantage over long range, especially against this formation. Because, like, I'm attacking, even if that suboptimal, it hit their laser cannons first, but then it's eventually going to start targeting their snipers. You're hitting their main. The whole point of formations is you want to hit their main troops, or you want to hit their attack troops before they cut through your front line and start hitting your main attack troops. Or to put it more shortly, you want to start hitting their main attack troops before they start hitting your main attack troops. And that's why mid-range usually has the advantage over it. But here's also why this formation is lackluster. One, because he only chose two, and yeah, the way he has it set up, the destructive lightning is going to hit his two of units, and then the laser cannon, and probably, what's the other one with not a map? I guess it hits the rocket launcher too, yeah. So he's not having the extra padding buffer to like help swallow, like, for example, my laser cannon special attack or my zombie special attack. And That makes it so his main troops are exposed at an earlier time. Moreover, especially against a mid-range person, as a long-range person, you want to have the mortar cannons, you want to have the shielders, because sometimes, even if you add one of shielder, the game, depending on like how much more money you spent on your opponent, will kind of screw over the mid-range opponent and make it maybe attack. Like my first special ability, if you had one shielder, sometimes the rocket launcher attacks that one shielder instead of like the main unit, which is the sniper in this case. So you would effectively be making the mid-range player waste a full attack if this person had just added like some mortar cannons and some shielders, even one shielder. And sometimes you can make them waste a full special attack, which is huge. Because look, even on my second round, you see that? It killed 43,800 snipers with one special attack. That's like a fourth of their army in one attack. That's why you want those. You need every one of those back row troops to just increase the chance that the mid-range player ends up wasting a full-on attack on one of those useless, or not useless, but yeah, one of those like either a shield or a mortar cannon that doesn't have. Basically, make the rocket launcher waste the special ability on a long-range troop that's not your main unit. Also, snipers, they require a very special, like to be good with a sniper, not only you have to have all the units, and you'd want their sniper at the very left side, and you'd want not much melee. You'd want, basically with snipers, is like you want to have high melee boost attacks, because the snipers have a hard time actually going through shredders. They struggle mightily, but one way you can mitigate that is like by specializing with just having your increase damage to melee troops. You want that high, and you'd want the attack against melee boost really high. And you'd want your lineup such that you don't have that many shredders, and you want to have less shredders than your opponent. You want your opponent to waste time walking towards you. So that way you can fire off some attacks while they're still walking, doing nothing. Because snipers are so far back that's how you'd have to have the advantage with snipers. I still don't like it. It's like if you're a C-30, you should be using, in a long range, your main unit should be the mortar cannon. And then sometimes, which I'm going to go over the last video, is like, since you're at a disadvantage, as a long range player, a disadvantage against the mid-range player, at least from the C-30 to C-32 levels, that mortar cannon's actually better oftentimes against them, because they are not prone to getting hit by the special ability until the rocket launchers moved forward and are in reach of them. So I'll go over that in the video against this little bear guy that it got me really figuring out, but he was more powerful than me, but I still was able to beat him on this one, and I'll show you how. And then he used the expansion to get back at me.